Good afternoon. We're still waiting for a couple of people to join us, so we're going to give it another minute or two just to hopefully get a few more people on. Okay, right. We're going to make a start now. So, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We hope you're all well and keeping safe in the current climate at the moment. My name's Emily Boyce, and I'm going to be facilitating this afternoon's meeting. I'm the Knowledge Exchange Officer for Skills Development in AHDB Pork team. We're going to be discussing the Pig Industry Scholarship Programme, also referred to as PISP, throughout. It's going to potentially highlight the talent recruitment and how it can make it easy for your business. So just to begin with, a few housekeeping points. All participants are on mute, so you're unable to communicate verbally to us, but I'll go through questions and how to ask them in a second. Today's session is running for an hour, and so it started at 2 and we'll be finishing at the latest of 3. The webinar is being recorded, so if you've registered and haven't been able to attend, you will be sent a link afterwards, and if you have been able to join us, you'll also be sent a link. That will be with you 24 to 48 hours after the recording is finished. And then after that, we will be processing it onto various other online platforms for you to get hold of it through those. That's another point as well. Don't worry about making too many notes, so you will be able to refer back to it. For those of you who are signed up to Pig Pro, our online training record, you are able to log your attendance on there. And then we will be taking questions throughout, so there's a couple of minutes at the end of each speaker for any really burning or relevant questions. Otherwise, I will be logging them and putting them to the speaker's name, and then we've got a 15-minute slot at the end for any other questions. So how to ask questions. On your panel, if you're on a laptop, you should have on step 1, if you press the orange box, it will pop out to step 2, where you can type your question in. Make sure you've pressed the white arrow to open the question box up, type your question in, and then pop the send, and I will get that. When it comes to on a phone, it is a question mark button, so that will then bring up your space, and again press send and it will come over to me. Okay, so just going to show you this slide again in case you didn't see it when beforehand, if you joined us at 2. Today we have got Hugh Crabtree, Doris Taylor, Nick Lawson and Wes Udall, who are going to be discussing the Pig Industry Scholarship with us. So first up is Hugh. Hugh is chairman of the Pig Industry Scholarship Steering Group, and he's going to introduce the programme. So over to you, Hugh.
Thanks very much, Emily. Good afternoon, everybody, and please let me add my thanks to you for attending this webinar. I've been involved in this programme from the get-go, and I've seen it develop into a really worthwhile recruitment resource for the sector. Our mission now is to make more businesses aware of the programme and grow it year on year. Many lessons have been learned along the way, and if there's one key take-home message, it's this: talk to us if you think your business can benefit from this programme. Just to repeat, we'll be taking questions as we go along after each presentation. So if you have any, please submit them by opening the panel on your screen as described by Emily. Next slide, please, Emily. The industry stakeholders in the programme are AHDB Pork and MPA, with the levy body providing the vital resource umbrella to operate the programme. Harper Adams University has very many years of experience in collaborating with industry. It's in their DNA. I'm sure you know, uniquely, every student undertakes a 12-month industrial placement as part of their degree qualification. The result is the highest level of graduate employment following graduation. Harper's Development Trust is excellent at helping businesses find the right talent. It is led by Doris Taylor, from whom you will be hearing later. The steering group includes business representatives with experience of the programme, and you will hear from two of those in a moment. Next slide, please, Emma. The basic process of the programme is really easy for you, but it's a competitive market out there, as any HR professionals amongst you will know. There are a few tricks we can share with you about how to attend your first scholarship fair, for example, but I'm not afraid to repeat. Talk to us and talk to Harper's Development Trust in particular. Doris and her colleagues will be delighted to help you. Next slide, please, Emily. Two more points. First, there's a very wide range of interests, skills and talents available in each cohort of students. If you need new talent in your business, it's your job to excite young people about the UK pig industry for a career. We all know it's not just pig farming, very important though that is, and we'd love to have more producers using the programme. Every human needs food, and our sector is in the business of supplying safe, nutritious, healthy and welfare-conscious food. What's not to like about that? Second, before I shut up, this programme is a great way to raise the profile of your business, as it clearly demonstrates that you're looking for new talent and you're putting your money where your mouth is in helping new people into UK food production. Please talk to us when you've heard the presentations. We'd be really delighted to help you. Thanks a lot.
Fab. Thank you very much, Hugh. We haven't got any questions as of yet, so we will head over to Nick Lawson from Rattlerow Genetics.
Thanks very much, Emily. Yeah, hi there. My name's Nick Lawson. I work for Rattlerow Farms. We are a pig producer. To tell you a bit about us as a business and what we do. I mean, my role within Rattlerow, I'm on the HR side, so I'm entirely responsible for finding our staff across the whole business at all different levels. So my background, I grew up within the business. We're a family-run organisation. So I probably started on the farm at about the age of 12, 13 years old, and worked all the way up until the age of 19 when I went to uni and studied agribusiness management over at Newcastle. I then left university with a bachelor's, and I moved to London, where I became a graduate headhunter, placing specifically graduates into grad schemes all over the UK, predominantly within the sales side of things. So I did that for about 7 years before I then moved back to Suffolk, where I've been for the last 3 years. Yeah, I'm very much involved on the HR and the production side. Next slide, please, Emily. So to give you an overview of us as a business, we're a family business. I'm essentially the third generation going into the company. We probably hold about 10,000 sows within our organisation, 7,000 on the sort of genetic development side, and 3,000 on the commercial side. We probably have about 180 staff in our organisation, which is crucial. So I have quite a large job to maintain that, and we're constantly growing as well. We've seen an awful lot of growth in the last couple of years. So bringing in new people to develop their way up through to bring up the next generation is crucial. We do a lot on the food manufacture side. We mill about 30,000 tons of our own feed. We have our own vets as well. We have our own logistics and haulage side. We have a little over 2,000 acres, as well as a renewable AD plant. We do a lot on the property side, and we also have a whole admin team. So there's a lot of different areas in which I have to facilitate and make sure we have the right people. Next slide, please. So, I mean, the reason why we've been so successful as a business is it's all about the people that we take on. And one thing I've really noticed from growing up on the farm, working from a young age, particularly in the pig side, there's a huge gap between young people and the older people. We have some fantastically skilled individuals in our organisation, but when the gap is about 35, 40, 50 years, there's a real space that we need to fill. And I think that's quite typical across a lot of businesses within pigs. We haven't invested in getting the next new generation, next youngsters into our industry. So, I mean, the way in which we typically resource people and find people is probably similar to a lot of other industries. So referrals are a huge part. Good people know other good people. We use job boards as well. Granted, it can be quite expensive to continuously spend money on them, but that has paid dividend for us over the years. Agencies have been very useful. You get a skilled member of staff typically through an agency. Does it mean they're going to fit your organisation? Not always, but it has been quite a helpful one. More recently, we've very much been on board with the apprenticeship schemes. They've really helped get a new injection of youth into our business. But most importantly is the Pig Industry Scholarship, which we're here to talk about today, and that has really been a very valuable, I suppose, gear and a different mechanism for us finding people, particularly young people, and injecting them into our organisation. And you know, that is the key thing about what I would like to talk about, is filling this gap within our business with youth. So in 20, 30 years, I'm going to have people in our company that we can work with still, and continue the business and doing what we do best. And that's really, you know, what this is all about. Next slide, please, Emily. So that was the main reason why we initially engaged with the Pig Industry Scholarship. We realised that it was tallied up with Harper Adams, and Harper is, in themselves, you're dealing with a pool of individuals who are incredibly intelligent, because you won't go to uni, you won't get in if you're not incredibly intelligent, and they're all focused in agriculture. So for us, it was a no-brainer as using this as a tool. the real key thing for us now was trying to, I suppose, get these people to want to work in the pig industry, because people go for all sorts of things. It could be chickens, it could be cattle, it could be whatever. So it was really about raising awareness and why you want to go into pigs as a real tangible option. Early access to students was also very, very, very key to us. By the time they graduated, they were already tallied up with lots and lots and lots of other companies throwing in different courses to them. The brilliant thing about the Pig Industry Scholarship is you are engaging with these people, these talented students in their second year for their third year placement. So you can build that relationship. Then they go finish their final year, then they already know about you, your business, your organization, to come back to you once they've graduated. Publicity, it's fantastic publicity that you get across Harper Adams students. All of your material and your company logos are spread throughout, so everybody has a good awareness of who you are as a company before they graduate as well. Image internally, I mean, for us as an organization, it's been really important. Our staff, they want to see us investing in the next generation of people coming through. They enjoy working with young people, transferring their knowledge, their talent on, and it really does show that as a business, Rattlerow, we have that longevity. Externally as well, our competitors, they see what we're doing. Other producers, I think, us as a company, we've always tried to lead from the front, and I think it's the right thing to do to get people from a young age involved and understanding what your company is all about and how to do it. It's also extremely cost effective as well. To take on someone from an agency can be extremely expensive, or someone from a job board, whereas within the Pig Industry Scholarship, for what you actually get, it really does pay dividend, I think. Next slide, please. Okay, so this triangle gives you a bit of an idea of what we do when our placements start with us and how we work with them in our organisation. So when they typically get on board with Rattlerow, their first 3 to 6 months, they will do a rotation, probably of about 10 to 15 different farms, I would say, overall. So within that, we start them right at the top of the pyramid there in the blue, which is where our nucleus units are and our AI stations. Very high health, all, I suppose a lot, for people who are more interested in the research side, it's a fantastic area for them to get into. We then move them down to the multiplication side, which is where we multiply the genetics that we have, and then they finally finish in the commercial side of things. And what this allows us to do is we can really analyze what that person is very, very good at, and we can find the best position for them within our organization to do their last 6 months. Has to be interesting for them, it has to be beneficial for us, and it has worked extremely well over the years. Next slide, please. This just gives you a bit of a taste of what we do. So the blue, the nuclear side, and our AI studs, that's kind of these pictures that you're seeing here. So these are farms that students will solely work with the boars on, where we collect all the AI. They get to do a mixture of lab work, they get to do a mixture of on-farm work as well. So it does give them a good taste of what we actually do. Next slide, please. We next move them down to nucleus and multiplication side. So these are farms that, as I said earlier, they very much act as the research facility within our organisations. So this is where we take the purebred lines, highly prolific, and we continuously turn those genetics to improve as much as possible. So we'll have students go in and they'll do all sorts of different selections on the pigs, understand what we're looking for as a business, understand what the best of the best is. We then take them down to multiplication level, and that's where we multiply those genetics. So we'll have people really learning how to select animals and what to look for, yeah, works very well. Next slide, please. We do a bit of outdoor as well. This is one of the I suppose areas that has really grown more and more, particularly in the last sort of 5 to 10 years. You can see in the pictures here, here's actually one of our scholars, our current scholar, Erin Fowler, who's on placement at the moment. There she is feeding some of the dry sows, but it gives them a really good idea to see what they prefer, indoor production or outdoor production, or at nucleus level, or whatever it might be, and allows us to tailor what's best for them. Next slide, please. So here's a couple of scholars we've taken on in the past. So we had Adam Brankley, was when we first engaged with the Pig Industry Scholarship. He started back in 2015. Really good individual to work for us. He got on extremely well on all the farms. He did a very good project for us as well, which I'll talk about on the next slide after that. But he was really fantastic. And with Will Simmons as well. Will was very similar, to be honest. He got on very well with all the different farms. He did a pretty good, I suppose, project as well for us, something that we could use of commercial value at the end. So yeah, very good. Next slide, please. And finally, our current scholar, Erin Fowler. Erin was a little bit different to the other placements that we've had. The other two came from farming backgrounds, and they have actually inevitably gone back to their businesses. But with Erin, she came from an interest in pig farming specifically, but she didn't actually have that family farm to go back to, which is a very valid point. I think it's something that in our interview process we've tweaked for the type of candidates we're looking for. At the end of the day, we want to retain people once they've been through this program. Finding people that we are going to be able, and we hope to be able to join us afterwards is absolutely critical for the success. But yeah, Erin, as I said earlier, she's gotten extremely well. She's done a very good project as well. Next slide, please. So why hire a Pig Industry Scholarship graduate? So look, for us, I think one of the key things is it's a year-long interview. You get to see this individual that joined your company, and you get to see where their skills are, their strengths are, and you can really analyze what's going to be the most suitable for them, if anything at all. But whatever the outcome, you hope it to be positive. You're definitely going to know if they're going to fit your culture, fit your business. They also do a project of commercial value, as I sort of alluded to earlier. You're able to get them to do bits and pieces that you might not have time to do, and do some research that for us, we've had some excellent pieces presented to us that we've used, and some of them we take to our sales team, who've actually used some of the information to put forward to customers. I think the other thing is, a graduate, when you take someone on like a scholar, they are a blank canvas. You can teach them the best way of doing everything, best practice within your business. You can hire someone with 20-30 years experience. Does it mean that they're going to be absolutely unbelievable? No, it doesn't. At least when you hire a graduate, you can teach them and you can train them up, and you can make sure that they do things that the way that your business wants them done. So that's been one of the key things. Retention of the students post-placement is also extremely important as well. You've got early access to this person. Have you managed to take them all the way through and retain them afterwards? Image as well, as I've said a number of times, it's really important that I think you're doing the right thing, taking on these students. Increase in graduate applications as well, and this is one of the things I've definitely noticed on the HR side. We get a lot more Harper Adams students apply for us once they've graduated, whether they've done the scheme or not, and it's because we have this literature that goes around to all the students, and they know who Rattlerow Farms are because of the Pig Industry Scholarship and the fantastic job that the guys at Harper do in promoting it and really selling this image of joining the pig industry. So whatever they're doing is definitely working, and I'm seeing all the time more and more people apply to us, which is only a really positive thing. So yeah, that brings me to the end of everything I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Nick. That was a great, honest overview of how the Pig Industry Scholarship has worked for you and your business. I have got a question that's come in, and it is there a minimum salary that students have to be paid?
Yes, there is a minimum salary. It does change year on year, but I believe it was 17,000 as a start, but it's at the company's discretion for what they would want to pay that individual.
Lovely, thank you very much. So we'll now head on over to Wes from ForFarmers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, and good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Wes, and I work for ForFarmers as their young animal feed specialist. I'm the chairman of the Young National Pig Association, and now through my work with ForFarmers, I help steer this scheme along with my fellow panelists. I graduated from Harper Adams in 2018, and having completed a degree in agriculture and animal science, and having undertaken my placement with ForFarmers through this very scheme, I am one of 4 scholarship students that ForFarmers have taken on, and one of 2 that have returned as full-time employees. I just wanted to give you a brief background to myself and to my journey to ForFarmers, which wasn't one that started from a traditional farming family. Initially, I worked in the agricultural sector through my work experience for school. This led to a part-time position on a mixed arable beef and dairy farm, a role which I held throughout the remainder of school, college and my university years. Before I joined Harper, I was at Morton Moral Agricultural College, just up the road from where I live now, and I joined Harper in September 2014 and was awarded the Pig Industry Scholarship in 2016 and started my placement year with them, with ForFarmers, should I say, that same year. So I just wanted to sort of talk to you about why I chose the Pig Industry Scholarship. Having completed my first year at Harper, when it came to applying for placements, I wanted to look for something that was different from what I had previously experienced either on farm, and that would build on the work that I had done at Harper. I think the biggest draw for me to the Pig Industry Scholarship Scheme, and to ForFarmers in particular, was the chance to work in the agri supply chain and in a sector, the pig industry, that I had not yet experienced. I truly believe that, not coming from a farming family also, I was more open to the opportunities to experience something different. As Hugh said, it's evident when you walk around the scholarship fair also at Harper, the number of opportunities within the pig sector. Nutrition engineering, genetics and production, just to name a few. All of these are being presented to the students. So it was also this that drew me to the pig industry, because whilst I may not have enjoyed my time with ForFarmers, I knew that there was something within the pig industry that I could move to, or in future employment could try and learn new skills from. So what I think is really key, and where the Pig Industry Scholarship plays a part, is getting those students into the industry to start with, so then they can find their own path within it. And of course, there was that added attraction, as we've spoken about already, of the sponsorship throughout my second year, and then potentially into my final year if things went well. Next slide, please, Emily. So I just wanted to sort of talk to you a bit about what I did on my placement year, and then go on to talk about why I think the benefits to the students about the Pig Industry Scholarship. In my first 6 months, I travelled around ForFarmers, working in all of the different departments that were available, so transport, marketing, formulations, production. And it's fair to say that some of these perhaps would not have been my first choice to learn about on my placement year, but I was certainly pleased that I had experienced them, as they enabled me to learn new skills and develop certain soft skills that I hadn't perhaps thought about initially. And I was pleased when I had done this because in my final 6 months, I was given the opportunity to be the account manager in East Anglia for the smaller family farms. Having seen how integral all the operation departments at ForFarmers are, it made my time easier as an account manager, so I could focus on the job in hand, helping the customer base improve their business through nutritional solutions. For me, I feel that the placement year was a huge step up in responsibility, and especially in that second 6 months. I think this is something that all students look for in their placement, but certainly scholarship students do. Something that will stretch them far out of their comfort zone and gives them valuable learning experiences. It certainly did this for me, which in turn I was then able to offer ForFarmers the best of what I could offer and make that process of talking to them at the end of the year about a potential graduate job much easier to be able to demonstrate to them what I had done during my time with them. And I think what's really key as well, especially within the agri supply chain, is the development of those key soft skills, as well as those that are technical and commercial. So what do I think the benefits of the students are? Well, as I say in my first point there, this scholarship scheme is a gateway to an industry that the majority of Harper students will not have come from. They are, having been a Harper student myself, I know that many of them have come from the ruminant side of things. So this scholarship scheme really does highlight another industry to them. And also it enables us to fill that talent pipeline that Nick has already spoken about. We're needing those young people to come into our industry. A placement year is great as it enables the students to become more rounded individuals. Sometimes, as I've already mentioned, students may be asked to do things on their placement that they thought they wouldn't or don't particularly want to do. But it is surprising how much you can learn from being put in these situations and to take these experiences forward in whatever you do next, even if it isn't what you've previously done. The work also, as Nick has said, that the student undertakes whilst on placement and afterwards are great opportunities for the company and the student to assess something specific or scientific. And these can make huge differences to the company and increase the knowledge of that student. And these projects and work themselves can go on to open new doors that you wouldn't know were there. For example, without my placement at ForFarmers, I would not have gone and presented my dissertation findings at the British Society of Animal Science in 2019. And these are things that you would never know existed or you never thought you'd be able to get to without going through the motions of a scholarship or indeed a placement. And finally, I think, as I say in my last point there, the placements offer a renewed sense of ambition when they return to Harper, having seen the reality of work. I truly believe that students having spent time on placements, and particularly again scholarship students, have renewed ambition and drive, setting them up for their final year and their first years of employment, which could of course be with yourselves. So I think these opportunities within the wider industry are the biggest attraction to any potential scholarship student. Also, the work ongoing with the industry to attract, grow and promote young talents show the industry's commitment to young people and the future of the industry. And this is the start of those of that attraction. For me, I've now come full circle and I'm an employer looking for the next generation through this pig industry scholarship scheme. And I certainly think it's on us, the companies, to encourage the very best of young people into our industry through these schemes, to ensure that our industry is in safe hands and its continued success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nick. I have had a question come through for you.
Okay.
As you're seeing the programme from the other side of the fence now, do you have any tips for prospective scholarship for offering businesses to help make themselves more attracted more attractive, sorry, in a competitive labour market?
Yeah, of course. So I think taking my experiences as a student, I feel very fortunate to have been with 4Farmers, and now looking at trying to attract young talent myself. I think first of all that you need to make it attractive, as you said, and to do this, providing new experiences to students is certainly key. Get them to see the whole of your business. Don't just focus them in one particular area. So you're making that placement year with them more exciting, and also it allows those students to find their own path. So I think that's key. Make it attractive and allow them to see your whole business. But I think also I think you have to be willing to give responsibility over to the student, to allow them to prove themselves and really take ownership of these things. And I'll never forget really that the biggest advocate to your placement, to your scholarship, are the students that have already been on your placement and scholarship. You would be very surprised at how much people talk about what they did on their placement year and saying, well, I did this and I did that, and trying to better each other, in responsibility and proving how well that they did. So certainly making it attractive, providing responsibility and ownership, and making it interesting. Don't just give them the day-to-day mundane tasks. Allow them to experience your business as it is. Lovely,
thank you. And again, a great outline of the scholarship and the benefits to the student, and a really good example of that you don't have to be from the traditional farming family background to succeed in the industry. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will hand over to Doris now from Harper Adams. She's going to give us a summary of the process. Again, please do remember that this is being recorded, so don't worry about trying to scribble any dates down or think too much. So we're over to you, Doris.
Hi. Could I have the first slide, please? So good afternoon, I am Doris Taylor, Head of Development at Harper Adams University, and I will now give you an overview of the scholarship process to illustrate the key elements required to ensure a mutually beneficial placement process. Every Harper Adams University degree includes a whole year of placement in industry to give our students a real work experience and to prepare them so that they have the confidence to get stuck in from day one by the time they graduate. So in terms of a foundation degree, it is the second year that is the industrial placement, and in terms of the Bachelor of Science degree, it would be the third year of a 4-year course. We offer a very broad range of course areas which reflect industry requirements, from agriculture, animal sciences, engineering, food technology, and business management. Therefore, depending on your needs, our students may be able to cover and add value to all areas of your business. If suitable, we encourage students across the different course areas to apply, and we have had many successful scholars with no former pig industry experience, Wes being one of those. Many organizations are now starting their graduate recruitment much earlier by offering a scholarship with placement. They frequently tell us that this is a really cost-effective method for them of graduate recruitment for them, and that their raised profile as a scholarship provider offers them the opportunity to really stand out from the crowd, in addition to gaining first access to students looking for an industry placement. Could I have the next slide, please? Thank you. First access to our students is gained by attending the scholarship fair, which will be held in October in advance of our careers and placement fair. The fair helps your company to stand out from the crowd, as you would be only one of around 30 companies compared to one of 140, 150 companies at the careers and placement fair. However, due to coronavirus, we are currently looking at different formats to hold this event. It will definitely take place, but due to anticipated social distancing measures, it may potentially be a virtual event. Your company, however, would be seen as one which really invests in young people, as has been mentioned before, and your scholarship opportunity would be highlighted to our students, and we work very closely with our placement and course managers. display screens across the campus, and social media posts advertising the fair will feature logos of all providers, and we also have blog articles advertising the different scholarship opportunities. We support all scholarship providers by giving individual advice, in particular by helping to tailor job descriptions and by regularly keeping in touch with students, academics, and our placement office to really give our office an overview of the current placement situation and what this particular cohort favors at the time. We also run the administration of the application process in a very fair and transparent way, which I will explain later. Another benefit of offering a scholarship is that it really intensifies, as Nick mentioned, this relationship between sponsor and scholar. The scholar will engage with you before the start of the placement. One opportunity being the scholarship presentation, which is currently scheduled for March 2021. This high-profile event also offers additional publicity as we publish the program on our website and the photographs on Facebook. And companies tend to share those, and especially the students as well. And we also ask participating companies to engage on social media, and we had quite a buzz, created quite a buzz this year. The scholarship value, in line with our awards, is £4,500, which is being paid to the student in the year prior to starting the placement. The Development Trust will invoice the companies who've secured a scholar, and the payment could be treated as a charitable donation to gain tax relief. Following an exit interview after the year's placement, you may wish to offer a final year scholarship, in particular if the scholar has had a successful year. This will once again show you as an employer who invests in young talent, but it will also keep you engaged with the student, which may result in future employment. The next slide, please. Thank you. To promote the scholarship and the placement role to our students, we use a placement job portal. This area allows you to advertise the position prior to the scholarship fair in October, and students tend to have a look prior to their return to the university. Give some background on your company and really be clear on the job description and mention what you would expect the student to get involved with. The more detail you can add, the better, as this will help your placement to stand out on the portal, but it will also be helpful for selling the opportunity prior to talking to students at the fair. Some companies offer the move around different departments or units, or even overseas travel, although that may be restricted at the moment. However, if this is something you could offer, include it in the advert, as this would be really attractive to our students. Also mention if you run a graduate scheme or you hope to see a placement student progress further within your organization. We will prepare a template containing key elements to help you with this. And my team and I, as well as our placement office, will be very happy to help. The adverts uploaded onto the portal are only visible to students, staff, and yourself, so it is not out in public. The next slide, please. Here is a complete overview of the scholarship timeline. You will be pleased to hear that only the green elements require your involvement. So by the 31st of August, we would need to know whether you wish to participate. By 7th of September, we would ask you to place your job description onto our website. On the 21st of October, we will hold a joint pig industry and British Poultry Council presentation to our students. We do this every year. And it's fantastic because students who have not formally considered any involvement with either of those organizations, they will suddenly feel that this is an area they could explore further and put themselves out of their comfort zone, as Wes also mentioned. Then we've got on the 22nd of October the scholarship fair, and the whole application process starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it runs until 18th of November, 12 o'clock. So the students have quite a lot of time to apply. But this time also helps us. If we see that applications are a bit low in certain areas, we can speak to the course managers and encourage further applications at the right time. So once we've got all applications, we will send the applicant packs to all companies on that same day by 5 o'clock. And now we come to the really important point. The interview frame from 20th of November until the 4th of December. We have allocated around a 2-week window for all interviews. Please book the time off in advance. And once you have been sent the applications, contact the students as soon as possible to invite them. Do not miss out at this point. This is really crucial. Students are limited to apply for 3 placements with scholarship, but they may have to attend different interviews in different locations across the country. Following all interviews, please notify us at the Development Trust of your chosen scholar and potentially give a second or even third choice. Don't tell the scholar themselves, as we will notify everybody at the same time, allowing them 24 hours to consider their decision. Finally, we will notify you of the student's decision, and we then ask you to get in touch with the unsuccessful students, offering feedback if required. I do hope that you will consider offering a pig industry scholarship, and I can assure you that we will support you throughout the process. Thank you.
Help if I unmuted myself. Thank you very much, Doris. That was a detailed oversight of the programme from the Development Trust's position in the process. So the presenting is now finished from our speakers, and we have reached the question and answer time. I've been receiving questions throughout and popping them to the appropriate speakers. So I will start them off. Let me just get them. So I've had a general one, which I think Hugh, you might be able to give us a pretty good answer for. So, are there any particular types of businesses that you were looking for to get involved with the scholarship? If so, what types of business are they, and what sort of businesses have been involved previously?
Thanks, Emily. Yeah, the programme, I guess, has had a slight misunderstanding about it in the past. It's been regarded as something that allied industries might be particularly interested in. It is true that allied industries have been providers of scholarships since the programme first started. But more recently, we have had prime producer and production companies, pig production companies getting involved, which we think is fantastic, and we would dearly like to encourage more. The fascinating thing about the pig sector is that there's nearly nothing that doesn't go on in it. You know, obviously there's a bit of pig production going on, but there's genetics, there's engineering, there's marketing, there's selling stuff. You know, it's just extraordinary, the range of career routes that there are in the pig sector. So it's a completely open book. We'd be delighted to hear from any business involved in the pig sector that's looking for new talent.
Lovely, thank you. I have one here that I think would suit Nick. Do businesses have to take a student if they get involved with the programme? For example, if I sign up but don't find a suitable student that matches what I'm looking for in the business, do I have to commit to employ a student, or can I wait until next year and see if I find a match then? So it's a bit how that works.
Yeah, so the short answer is no, of course not. I mean, we go through the process every single year of attending the pig industry scholarship fair, whereby we face-to-face engage with as many students as possible, and we're basically there selling our company. Me and my colleague Simon Guys, it's actually quite a lot of fun going down for the day. From that, they then all apply, and you hopefully get a number of decent people apply. I review all the CVs, people that we think are suitable. I'd then give probably a bit of a telephone interview with, and if they pass that, I'd then invite them down to meet with myself and probably a few of my other colleagues in our head office here, where we interview them. And if we really like them, we will offer them a place in that time frame that Doris talked about, because it is from when you receive the CVs through to actually making that offer. I will admit it's not a massive time window, because there's lots of stuff going on for Harper. They need to know if they get their placement or not. So you do have a short window, but you'll know at the end of it if you like that person or not. And as you can see from the people we've taken on, I mean, we hired one in 2015, 2017 and 2019. So we've always gone through that whole process, and we have not been pressured at all to take someone on every year. If people aren't suitable, we don't. We move on and we cut our losses, and we look forward to the following year.
Thank you, Nick. That's really important message to get across, I think. So yeah, thank you for that one. I have one for Doris. Harper Adams University has a particularly strong reputation in the poultry sector. How is the pig industry viewed by the Development Trust in terms of providing career opportunities for your Harper graduates?
We value the relationship we have built with the pig industry, and to compare it to the British Poultry Council, it's a bit difficult really, because that program has been much longer, running much longer. So it's not really that fair to compare the two. However, in the time we have had with the pig industry scheme, we have really built a solid program. We've had some fantastic scholars go through who have progressed in the companies that they've had their placement with. So we absolutely value the path that it opens up for our students within the industry.
Lovely, thank you. And then I do have one for Wes as well. So now you are seeing the programme from the other side of the fence. Have you any tips for prospective scholarship? Have I already asked you this question, Wes?
Yeah, this is second chance.
I have. I'm ever so sorry.
That's okay. I can repeat the points if you like.
Okay. So at the moment we haven't got any more questions. I can we'll leave it open just for a second in case there's any more questions that will come through. But I will just pop over onto the next slide, which has got some contact details on that you may like to take down.
Emily,
Yeah.
it might just be worth mentioning, following on from Nick's very clear comments about, you know, if you find anyone or if you don't find anyone and what happens then. My business has been involved in the programme, as I explained in my introduction, since the programme got started. Interestingly, in the first year that we got involved, we offered a scholarship, didn't have any applicants. But we moved to take part in the regular careers and placement fair that Doris referred to in her presentation, which takes place a little bit after the scholarship placement event. And we found a student who joined us, and so I think it is just worth thinking about this, the scholarship offer, in the context of everything that Harper does. And obviously you are going to get the really seriously committed students having a look at companies offering scholarships, but it isn't necessarily the end of the road if you don't find a suitable candidate. And having learnt a little bit about how to sell your business at a placement or careers event, because I expect there are people listening to this webinar who've never particularly done that sort of thing before. There are a few tricks, and it's important to understand that you're very much there to sell your business, and you need to really be out there and waving the flag for your business to attract students. So it isn't the end of the road if you don't find a suitable scholar, but obviously this has been all about finding. Doris will smile when I say this. We often talk about, trying to find the creme de la creme from the student cohort for the current year.
Thank you, Hugh. I have my questions have gone a bit haywire. They're repeating themselves, which is why I asked you again, Wes. Sorry. It was another question for Nick. So, with your experience of several routes to new talent recruitment, where does the Pig Industry Scholarship Programme lie on the scale of value for money? So, does it work out to be one of the better routes that you've sort of experienced that you mentioned earlier on? Oh, Nick, you're on mute. Sorry.
Is that better? Sorry. Yeah, no, it actually does. I mean, you might have seen one of my slides earlier where I actually talked about the different mechanisms I use to find people. One of them being agencies. Agencies, you can pay an absolute arm and a leg for somebody, and are they going to fit your culture? Are they going to come in and start thinking they're the boss all of a sudden? You just don't know. You can spend so much money and then they never work out. But at least that with a graduate, you can train them up into being what you want them to be. Job boards can be extremely expensive as well. You're also fishing from a much larger sea of people. Probably you've had about 6 or 7 other jobs in anything from stacking shelves through to PR through to whatever, and there's no focus on agriculture. That's what you get from a Harper student. They're agricultural based people. So I'd say overall for actually what you pay for, you're way more focused on getting a better applicant and a better person to invest in to have longevity with.
And you can't stress the other point you made, Nick, enough, can you, about the year-long interview? I mean, what a
exactly.
'Cause yes, you've made a scholarship contribution and you are paying a salary to this student, but this student is also contributing useful work, and it's just, and in the context of your business, it's an absolutely splendid opportunity to find out what they're made of.
Yeah, exactly. As a minimum, they're there working, but the real thing is you can find and understand where and which route within your company is best suited for you, and for that person as well. So yeah, it's an awful lot of benefits, an awful lot of value, I think, for what you get overall.
Lovely, thank you very much. I haven't got any more questions come through, so I'll pop onto this next step slides. Slide. So in regards to the next phases of the program and the process, if you are interested with your business to join the program, then contact Doris or myself. Our information's up there. When it comes to finding out more information or finding the recording from today, you can visit the AHDB Pig Industry Scholarship page or the event archive, which you should be able to view it there. Again, any problems, then contact myself with that one. And then when it comes to Wes's and the sort of student's point of view, it's Harper Adams website. The other thing that I'd really like to stress is the survey from today's presentation. If you could fill that in, that it will really help us out how you think we did, and we can improve. So it's really important for that and what you think of the programme. And then, as I said earlier, the recording will be with you between 24 and 48 hours. And I can't thank the speakers enough for today for joining us and giving us their time. And thank you for listening, everybody. So I'll say goodbye. Take care.